Oh, well, no, then we get to go to bowl games, and there we go. We get to
Yes.
overreact to a team losing because of 17 of their starters were out.
We get to go to the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando. Let's talk about clean, old-fashioned hate. Georgia at Georgia Tech. I don't love this one for the Jackets, man. I understand, again, everything we've talked about with rivalry weekend. Right now, Georgia is favored by 13.5 with an over-under of 59.5. Last 3 games, Georgia Tech has just looked like they've been disintegrating a little bit. They're 1-2 in their last 3 games, 2 of which were on the road, but you lost at NC State 48-36 to snap your undefeated season. You snuck by BC up in Boston 36-34.
You need a major comeback in that one.
Made a major comeback. And again, like Notre Dame also struggled at BC. So that's not necessarily something that you look at the teams in the upper echelon and say, well, this is an anomaly. It's BC plays tough at home. And then you beat Pitt 42-28 your last time out. You lost to Pitt, 42-28 your last time out. Pitt obviously has showed some muscle in the last few weeks and is trying to sneak into the college football playoff. And there's a chance they can still do that. I do not love this matchup. It just feels like, I've said it all season long, that this Georgia team knows how to finish. They might have instances where they'll give up some points. They might have instances where they have to come from behind, but they don't blink. They are the toughest out in college football this season. I, as a fan, am dying to see Texas A&M versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. I think that's the heavyweight matchup that college football fans deserve to see in that game, but we'll see how this entire weekend plays out. Does Georgia Tech have enough juice to beat the monster?
For starters, no, you do not wish to see Georgia and Texas A&M go play in the SEC title game, because that means you hope Alabama loses in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I know, but I do want to see the game. I still want to see
Why
it.
do I have to suffer because your and TJ's team are no longer playing for anything?
Hey, wait a minute. Penn State's playing for bowl eligibility if they beat Rutgers this weekend.
I think so is TJ. I think so is Florida State.
It's rough. It's rough right now for us state schools. But does Tech have enough to actually take down this Georgia team? Because, like, to your point, Alabama had the recipe. I don't know if Georgia Tech has the firepower to do it.
Well, it's, to me, not about their offensive side. I mean, Haynes King still very much could be in the Heisman Trophy conversation if they were to win this matchup, simply because of he is the offense. I mean, he has 15 rushing touchdowns against 12 passing touchdowns. I mean, that shows you how much this man is basically like the Black Knight in Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail, of never being willing to quit and give up his entire body until he crosses the goal line. I don't know what does. So, you know, they could usually have that. The problem is, Tom, they've given up 124 points in their last 12 quarters to NC State, that just got bowl eligibility by beating TJ's team, Boston College, that is more so focused on what's up Trevor doing versus what's going on the football field, and Pitt, that openly said last week, it doesn't matter about the Notre Dame game. We just got to beat Georgia Tech. They've given up over 1,600 yards of offense to all 3 of those teams. None of those teams going into their matchups were in the top 30 in scoring. So that tells you everything that you need to know about how horrendous this defense has been. And what do we know about Georgia? Well, Georgia this year has had its struggles defensively, but offensively, they've been able to manage it. You know, kind of the best beauty of what has been Georgia's recipe to withstand slow starts from their defense is having fast starts from their offense. Gunnar Stockton, I think, is very much still playing his way into the Heisman Trophy conversation. He is not talked about enough. He's had 2 games this year against top 10 teams at the time where he had 5 incompletions and 5 total touchdowns. I mean, if that does not scream Heisman Trophy caliber player, I don't know what does. But the passing attack has found a rhythm. They've been able to replace what they've lost with Colby Young, with guys like Noah Thomas stepping on up, a couple of the young freshmen stepping on up, Oscar Delp having a big game, Dylan Bell stepping on up in a lot of ways, Lawson Lucky being a little bit involved in the passing attack. There's things that we're seeing right now from this offense that says, hey, Zachariah Branch, if you get the ball to him in space, he's off to the races if you get a good block. But it's more than just number one making plays, and it's more than just the rushing attack. I think that Mike Bobo has played his way out of all negative connotations about his play designs, because let's just be real. I mean, like, he was getting brunt of it all last season, and I completely understand that. But at the same time, the dude has been in his element really since the second quarter of the Alabama game, and he's had his moments really in the second half of matchups to look at what didn't work and what has worked for this Georgia offense. And that's really been the deciding factor of why they haven't lost since the Alabama game. But I think that right now there's so many ways that Georgia can beat you. They can beat you with the slow ground and pound death march of all hell that comes in the form of them running it 17 or 18 times and winning on third down. They also can win through the air, and you've seen the explosive deep ball accuracy and the pinpointness of what Gunnar Stockton provides. So I think if you are Georgia Tech, you're going to have to force some turnovers. I think that you're going to have to make them live in third and long. I think that you're going to have to pressure this offensive line that's playing really well. And I think that you're going to have to rely on just a couple of big explosives on your end that wins the one-on-one battles at the second and third level of the defense, because Georgia's defensive line doesn't know how to end drives by getting to the quarterback. But you know what they do, Tom? They do a great job pressuring quarterbacks, and they make them have to stay inside the pocket and not maneuver outside. So they're not finishing with sacks, but they are winning in the pressure rate. So little things like that will go a long way. I agree with you. Georgia Tech, it's not a good matchup defensively for you. Offensively, it feels like that there are some lulls along the way. And also, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm very pissed at Georgia Tech for selling their soul and putting this game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is basically just Bulldogs headquarters 2.0. Because you had this at Bobby Dodd, and you said, no, we're going to take the marketing ploy. We're going to go ahead and embrace that this is a rivalry game that needs to have merchandising sales. And as a college football stan, I'm never going to be okay with rivalry games being played anywhere other than home and home environments outside of the Cotton Bowl. It will always be that way. So you already took a hit. Like I said in the preview on SEC Unfiltered this past week, it should be a 10-0 lead for Georgia simply because if you gave up the rights to play this at Bobby Dodd Stadium, you should have a 10-0 disadvantage if you're Georgia Tech. It's not going to matter. I think that Georgia wins. I think Georgia covers. I think it's going to be something along the lines of 38-20.
Hey, I'll get right back to the video, but first I do want to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. Make sure that you are on the Sleeper app. We appreciate all of their support this football season. Use our code CFA for a 100% match up to $100. We will play the more or less game on Wednesday on the Power 2 live here on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed and don't miss it. Make sure that you've already deposited and you're already good to go. While you're doing holiday shopping for everybody else, make sure you're on the Sleeper app taking care of yourself too. Check their terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. We appreciate Sleeper for their support.
The positive is that the Chick-fil-A stands will be open, which, you know, many Falcon fans are like, what the hell? This doesn't even make any sense.
Doesn't help me. Does not help. I'm not going to be there, so I'm not going to get a Chick-fil-A.
I'm going to go 41-20 Georgia. I think this gets ugly. I think Gunnar Stockton plays a Haynes King style, but he's aware of what his deductible is, and he just plays smarter. He's completing 71% of his passes, 19 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 8 rushing touchdowns, quietly having a very good season. And again, he just keeps this team on schedule. He doesn't blink. Neither does this entire team. The makeup of the team under Kirby Smart. Granted, they're not going to get their degrees, and they are going to get pulled over at some point, but they are going to win football games. That's what Georgia does. Our buddy TJ is picking Georgia 38-24. So I think we're all kind of in the same boat there.
We all agree that they're going to win, they're going to cover, and they're going to be in the college football playoff like they ever weren't going to be in the playoff.